Okay, now we're going to move towards understanding how to draw scenery as well, like how to draw an environment that a thing would be taking place within. And um, the first consideration that I want to introduce is, are we looking at something from, like, what is our vantage point? So let's say that we're going to draw it from the point of view of a bird. We're going to draw it from the point of view of an ant, and we're going to draw it from the point of view of a regular human point of view. Okay, so if it's a bird point of view, if you have any kind of situation, I'm going to go like this, and we're dealing with a bird point of view, the thing that's going to happen is, because the bird is really, really high up, right? And so what we would do is we would raise our horizon line. Our horizon line becomes really high. And then when we have objects occurring in the picture frame, say this is my vanishing point, this is my vanishing point. And if we're looking at buildings, we'd actually have to give ourselves a third vanishing point to draw this. So say we're looking at buildings from, this would be looking at buildings from a bird's eye point of view. Say driving through the city, flying through the city as it were, from a kind of bird's eye point of view. And this is a composition that's widely used in comics. And because I have the point here and I'm using this to get these lines, this is technically three-point perspective. Okay, so at an environment as seen from a bird type point of view, seen from way, way, way above, kind of a faux pas there. Okay. Here's our little bird flying through. Here is as seen from an ant's point of view. In this case, the horizon line would be really, really low. And so your buildings would, so let's make our horizon line really, really low. And then the other thing is, you don't try not to have your vanishing points too close. It really makes things feel distorted. Okay. And this might be how it feels to be something really, really little, like a mouse or an ant or something. Everything Everything makes you feel small. Nice little arrangement of buildings. Okay, now here is a vanishing point. Here's a horizon line, or a kind of human point of view. See if this is like right on the ground. Let's put this one just a little bit higher, and we'll make our vanishing points kind of far out again. So this feels like it could be a person walking down the street, could be having this kind of experience. There are a lot of things above their head. There are some things below their eye level. Okay, so these guys, this is kind of the built environment. Another thing to take into consideration is the shape of land. So for instance, imagine that we're again in the bird's eye point of view, and this time we're looking down. And let's say we're looking down on a hill, and I'm just going to kind of draw the topography of the hill, and here will be another hill over here. So we've got these two hills, and we're seeing maybe we can add a third. We've got this shape of the land, and over here it's going to be more gradual. And then, so this is kind of looking down on the land, and you can make cross contour lines crossing in any number of directions. And that helps convince the viewer of the shape that they're looking at. But now, let's say we were going to take that same sort of idea and we were going to turn it upwards, right? So we've got a mountain in the foreground. Now our horizon line here is just so high. Now we're going to have a really low horizon line. So here's our mountain in the foreground right here now. And now it might look like that. And as the lines pass around it, you'll notice they all are going to be pointing towards vanishing points that are low like that, or tending towards vanishing points that are really low. Even this one is still got to go downward to get to. Okay, there's that hill, and now here's the hill on the back behind it. Let's say it's a lower hill, and its cross contour lines too have to be going downward in order for it to feel in keeping with this point of view. And then there's a little mountain over here. So here's the shape of this land. And now we'll try it from a human point of view. And some of the first hill is above, and some of the first hill is below. And some of the second hill is above, and some of the second hill is below, and you may even start to see basin in here. And the third hill, way back here, some of it's above. All of it's above, okay? Notice how we're really starting to, especially this one, I feel like, in this composition is kind of the most effective one that I have. And you can shape these things, if you take and you apply a light direction. So let's say that the light direction, I'm just going to do a triangle like this to show a light direction. So all of this would fall into shadow, and this would fall into shadow, and that would fall into shadow, and that would fall into shadow. And then there would be cast shadows, and you could have the little darkening to show a reflected light if you wanted to. And these too are susceptible for shading. Like we could say that this whole side of this mountain would be in shadow. Like imagine a kind of cone going around, and this whole side of it would be in shadow. And then this side of this mountain would all be in light. And perhaps we would be getting a small amount of the halftone moving over this way, kind of moving over towards the light. But then this mountain would really need to darken in order for that halftone to be as dark as it was. And my hatching lines, the shading lines, want to show the perspective. And then this here would be moving into shadow too. And that becomes kind of cool, right? Okay.